First things first, before I get on my monologue to start the review off, happy mother happy Mother's Day to all the mothers in the world. Obviously, today is a good day for your mothers, so make sure you treat them with love, care, and respect. So I'm going to get to the main point now. And can I just say this? For all the people who keep slamming Horikoshi, you can F off. Because this man is doing phenomenal work. Like this chapter, for example. I don't understand, and I don't know how, and I don't know why I got so hyped after reading this chapter. This chapter was one of the greatest My Hero Academia chapters, and I know we've gotten a lot of them, but this is one of the best. The hype up, the build up, it's coming. Just like Deku said at the end of this chapter, it's coming. My Hero Academia chapter 270 review. Guys, it's Camper 15, and I'm back at it with another video for you guys, and this is a My Hero Academia manga chapter review. Now, first things first, I gotta say, I'm sorry I didn't do reviews for the last two chapters. I was kind of busy at the time, because at the time, it was college finals going on, especially with the online stuff of what's going on in the world. And yeah, so I really, well, one, I was being lazy, and then two, I just feel like I didn't have time because I wanted to dedicate my stuff to obviously school and stuff like that. So yeah, that's why I did not do a chapter review for I think 268 and 269, even though they were good chapters too. I do know they were good chapters. I read those chapters and they were dang good chapters. But I'm here back to, review chapter 270 and stuff like that. And essentially what's been going on in the last few chapters is, or from what happened in the last chapter, is they broke Shigarashi out. And it looks like the heroes have all won and they captured the doctor. They broke Shigarashi, and it's looking like, okay, we did it. We saved the day. Next thing you know, this chapter comes along, and it's like I've been saying for the last past manga chapter reviews. The hero's gonna look like they're gonna win and they're gonna have the upper side, and it looks like things are gonna be going so great because they planned so phenomenally. Well, just like a snap of your finger, look at that. And albeit, let it be known, this is probably happening in like minutes of thing. You can't think about that. When you're reading, yeah, for us reading, it's like months. But to these guys, it's all happening like in minutes. This probably is happening within 5 to 10 minutes in what's going on right now. Just like that. Just like the snap of my finger. The villains now have the upper hand now. And we're going to talk about it in this chapter. So, this chapter is titled My Hero Academia Manga Chapter 270, Inheritance. So, President Mike, he is running with the doctor, and the Deadshot looking character. He sees like this, electrical surge going on, and just like, making that noise. And this is when we get into the monologue of Dr. Ujiko. And essentially, he gives a monologue of really his backstory, essentially. And he brings up the paranormal singularity theory. We've heard this theory before in the past. Obviously, we heard it way back a few months ago, and from season 4, and way back in the manga, back when it was first, a thing. But as we all know, the paranormal singularity theory is the whole theory about how each generation's quirks get stronger to the point that it will come to a point where those people cannot be able to control their own power, and it can end up destroying themselves, essentially. And yeah, so he talks about the fact that he came up with this theory, and the fact that everybody just around his circle ignored that theory and just didn't pay no mind, saying like, Who the hell does this guy think he is? Really, he thinks as generations go on, Quarks will get stronger and then eventually will destroy each other? Huh, that's pathetic. Um, and, he does mention in those days when the world was struggling to end the turmoil and regain peace, nobody wanted to hear about another terrible collapse in the future. So this guy had a feeling like, listen, something in the future, right now, what we're going through right now is terrible. But what's going to happen in the future is going to be even worse than what we're experiencing right now. And he even brings up and then President Mike brings up the fact that, well, you see, your theory, the quark singularity theory, it's kind of brought up with mostly just, these cults essentially around Japan and stuff like that. Um, so then Ujiko keeps, so then President Mike keeps mentioning, he's like, the scholar who presented that missing theory soon after, died a few years later. And President Mike says he'd have to be over 120 years old at this point. And then that's when we start putting one and one together. So then this is where Ujiko starts talking again, and he's like, look, I was ostracized with nowhere to live in my wretched state. He was the only one who reached out to me. And he's referring and he's talking about All for One. This chapter heavily centered All for One, Shigaraki, and the Doctor. And essentially, he's essentially saying, at his state where everybody just rejected him and turned him away, which is another whole character that was essentially pushed out of the regular society because people thought that he was crazy with what he was believing, which goes to show another real life element. And that's what My Hero Academia I love about the series. I don't care what anybody says. I love My Hero Academia, the My Hero Academia series for its real world elements. Just time and time again, they bring up these world elements, which those real world elements can have an effect and happen in the real world. Like you can push somebody else away, or what is it? Like say you're in a high school setting, and you see this nerdy kid who everybody in the school thinks he's crazy, and you just push him away for time and time again. You're weird, you're stupid, blah 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 blah, and you're just a complete jerk, and you just push him out of society, and you call him the unnormal out of what people say are normal people. Next thing you know, 30 years later, he could come back to get you, and something bad might happen to you, and yeah, and guess what? He has the last laugh because he's like, you just didn't have to mock me this entire time, and that's what Ujiko here is saying. And this is the same thing with almost everybody we've seen who has some sort of connection to All for One. The fact that All for One would find these people at their lowest moments in life, like Shigaraki and Dr. Ujiko. And he'd be like, how about this? Why don't you follow my cause? I see you as somebody that is, a use for society, for my purpose. Even though it is a selfish reason, All for One sees these people in his own vision, as useful people. That's what he said with Shigaraki after people kind of pushed him to the side and really he had nothing else of his family. And the same thing goes for Dr. Ujiko. All for One found this guy as probably off the street and just picked him up and been like, work with me, and I can make you a life that you once wanted to have. Then we get the confirmation of his quirk, Dr. Ujiko's quirk. And he says, my quirk doubles doubles my lifespan while sacrificing my physical mobility. Life force. The disgust I'm feeling, I'm presented my quirk as an offering to him. The quirk inside me now is just a duplicate of my original. And essentially, he explains how he is alive for this long. I watched another video before this, and his official quirk term is called preservation. And essentially, what his quirk does, he gets to have a longer life to live at the expense of his, athletic physical traits, which means he essentially, how might I ask? He essentially cannot really do anything athletic. Like he can't really like, fight in a sense. He won't be able to fight and stuff like that. And he's all and then he also says the quirk within himself is just a duplicate, which means somebody else has it, and we only get to find out who it has later by the end of this chapter. And the last thing he does mention is he brings up the fact that that he talks about Kurogiri, and he also makes the fact that yeah, I wanted Kurogiri. I really I appreciate what Kurogiri's done, but I really wanted that Eraser guy, Eraser Head, which goes to the fact that he wanted our good old friend Eraserhead, which would have been scary if they had him. And then the last thing he says, he's like, right now, I'm too close to comfort for something seriously revolting. And then that's when we get Tomura Shigarachi's. All of a sudden, we get the Tomura Shigarachi dream sequence here. And he just sees his parents, his sister, and essentially he just sees like his memories from the past when he was younger, and everything that led up to who he became, who he was, and stuff like that. And like for example, his mother even brings up the fact like, don't you still want to be a hero, Tenko? And you know he's just going back and forth, and then you have the dad, and then he sees himself re-killing his dad again and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden, we get to Mr. All for One in his dream sequence, looking like, and he even mentioned the fact that he looks like Kurogiri. And All for One is saying, to me now, come here. And it focuses a little bit on the little thing, on the little device he was on, which, monitors completion status. We also do see he was at 75% complete. And the doctor starts talking again, and he's like, he foresaw his downfall and entrusted all he had to his successor. He even chose to pass on his own quirk, so just like I once did for him, he took a duplicate of his quirk for himself and gave the original one to Tomura Shigarachi. This was at this moment, I legit lost it. If you do not know what that means or what that statement means, essentially, what Dr. Ujiko said is, All for One foresaw his downfall. He knew he was going to be stopped by the heroes, which was All Might, and he was going to be put in Tartaros. He foresaw that coming. So, he had a backup plan. He gave his quirk All for One to Shigarachi. So Shigarachi now has All for One. And this is another thing. Just like Dr. Ujiko said, he has essentially his own quirk again, just a duplicate, like a copy. All for One still has that copy of his quirk. And you know what that means? That means he can still use his quirk to his ability, which changes the entire landscape of things. Sir, people, I'm telling you, we're getting a Prison Break arc. I don't know when. I think it's coming soon, especially with what they hinted at in this chapter. But I'll speak to that later. So then all of a sudden, it has Shigarachi walking to the dream to All for One. And all of a sudden, all his family members, his grandma, well, I think his grandpa, his mom, his dad, his sister, they all try to block him off from going to All for One. In a way of like, no, don't go to the dark side. Stay here with the light side. Don't you want to be a hero? And an interesting thing they showed was his grandmother, Nana Shimura. They showed Nana in this panel too, holding him back to not, you know, be bad. And she says, "Don't ever forget." And then Shigarashi just disintegrates them all. Because at this point, he's already too far gone. And he walks into the darkness with All for One. And it shows Nana Shimura disintegrating just by bits and pieces. Just getting one more look at her grandson, stepping into the darkness. And, it's crazy. And then all of a sudden, Shigarashi's body just starts flailing up. It flails up. And then it cuts back to where Deku, Todoroki, and Bakugo are at, where, they're helping out the heroes and stuff like that. They're helping out these civilians escape the city. And then Deku, in almost a sixth sense, senses the fact that Tomura Shigarashi is coming, and he is now on the battlefield. So I'm guessing we're getting close to maybe Deku versus Shigarashi for the first time. Now, my only thing before I say anything else, before I talk about a future Prison Break arc, my thing is that Deku just feeling that from, the sense, just a sixth sense that he's just thinking like, there's like an uneasy thing going on and I feel like something's coming and he's coming? Or is that like One for All notifying him like, dude, something's coming and that's not good? So, or what if, and this is my speculation, what if Nana Shimura is talking to Deku through One for All, telepathically telling him, he's coming, because that's the next quirk Deku is supposed to get, Nana Shimura's quirk, Float. So what if Nana Shimura is like contacting Deku through One for All, saying that he is coming? That's just a theory or a speculation. I think that would be totally cool because that would make total sense because Tomura Shigarashi and Nana Shimura are connected from, family aspect. And it would make sense that Nana Shimura would talk to Deku telepathically and be like, hey, Shigarashi, he is coming. He has revived. So maybe the first few scenes of next week's chapter, which I'm happy that it's going to be coming out next week instead of 14 days, but still it's coming out next week. Maybe we get some path focused on what Shigarashi is going to be doing, which I believe he'll be taking some lives. Maybe some of our favorite heroes too. I swear, I hope not. And maybe he'll focus a little bit on the fact that Deku's like stunned, and maybe Bakugo and Todoroki will be like, "Yo, Deku, are you good?" And he's be like, and maybe Deku's be like, "We're screwed. We are screwed right now," and stuff like that. So who knows? Personally, who knows what's gonna happen next chapter? All I know is Shigarashi is gonna make his appearance next chapter, and it's looking like he's gonna be, I think we're going to see some deaths soon. And maybe it might be to some characters that... All I got to know is that Deadshot looking character, he's going to be the first one to go. He's going to be the first one to go. He's gone. It's no fact. The Deadshot character is gone. Now, going back to the... All for One Prison Break stuff. I think we might be getting a Prison Break arc really soon. I think we might be getting a Prison Break arc really freaking soon. And this has been hinted at for the longest time, the moment All for One was in Tartaros. An interesting tidbit I did find, especially watching from another reviewer, on the fact that All for One is, saying, come here, like he's calling out to Shigarashi in his dream. And the other person I listened to said, what if... All for One is telling him to come and follow him, and come to him, break him out of Tartarus, and then that's when things get from that's when things would get from bad to worse. Um, Listen, I think there's going to be a prison break arc after this. The villain's going to go to the prison, Tartarus. They're going to break All for One out, and things are going to get out of hand. And we're essentially going to have two characters that can use the power of All for One, essentially be teamed up, and there's a chance Deku might have to fight. I've always called that. I believe Deku will fight Tomura Shigaraki. He'll beat him, but I really do believe the the final big boss. I really do believe. Now they could do it either way. They can make the final big boss Tomura Shigaraki because it is talking about successor. But I still believe to this day. Like I think Deku will beat Tomura Shigaraki. He'll beat him, but the main bad guy he will have to beat once and for all is he will have to beat All for One. And when I mean stop him once and for all, I mean eradicate him to the point he is completely gone. That's what I believe, and I think that's when we're gonna get the All Might Death and everything. Um, all I know is things are gonna be heating up, and a Prison Break arc is coming. That's all I gotta say. A Prison Break arc is coming, and when it comes, I really don't know. I really don't know. Horikoshi. Sometimes, you see, it's like when I see these, I'm like, how are they gonna get out of this situation now? But listen, you have to have trust in Horikoshi. It's just like One Piece and Oda. Oda be shocking you out the world and stuff like that, and you're like, how are they gonna get out of this situation? And then Oda always does something god tier for One Piece. The same thing goes for My Hero Academia with Horikoshi. These people know what they're doing. These people ain't gonna come with some BS things. These people will flip you for a dime and catch you slipping. You think things are gonna be happening, and you're like, how are they gonna get out of this situation? Next thing you know, they're like, here we go. And then you're like, oh my goodness. So the people hating on Horikoshi, you can have off because this is one of the greatest My Hero Academia chapters, hands down. This is great storytelling, and I can't wait for next week. The next chapter comes out May 14th. Next week, next Sunday. I swear, I am going to be reading. Manga is the only thing I have left of any anime I have left to deal with. And it is so good. Hopefully, anime can come back real soon. And yeah, and then, stuff like that. But as for the mangas, they're still going on, and I'm hyped. I am hyped. So, I'm going to get out of here, guys. And I'm going to catch you guys in the next video. So if you like this video, leave a like. If there's a comment you want to place regarding this manga chapter review and what you think and what's going to be coming next. Your predictions of what's coming next. Put them in the comment section. As well as hit that subscribe button if you want to get more My Hero Academia content or more My Hero Academia chapter content. We won't really be getting anime content for a while. Because now it's getting ready for season 5. But other than that, I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to catch you guys on the next video. Peace.